Okay, so let's move on to the second major part of this module, which is the classic Hello World program. It's also the first program we're going to kind of write from scratch, and we're going to review some of that material or talk about some of that material as we go along. So the last thing we've been playing with, of course, is Blink, and you've probably played with it enough now. You're kind of familiar with how it works. And so let's create a whole new program from scratch. So I'm going to do that by going here, and I'm going to select this icon for a new sketch. And here it appears. I actually do want to start developing. I'm going to slowly ease you into some good practice. We do want to start commenting our code, and at the end of this module, I'll be expecting you to turn in an independent project, and I'll want you to have at least a header on it. A header is going to be where you're going to put the information that about this code, what it is, and in your case, your name, the date, if you're in a different class, what arrangement are you in. That kind of information is all going to be placed inside this code. All of this stuff here on this blank, the part here that's prefaced by the /* and ends with a //, this is a comment block. Okay, so everything between these two units here is invisible to the compiler. It is only a note to you. It will not actually end up in the code. I'm actually going to, because I don't like to type, I'm going to just copy that, and I'm going to paste it right here. And I'm going to make it my own. Okay, so let's just go ahead. Let's just say this is, I'm going to call it Hello World. And I'm going to put my name. I'm going to put the date. And in your case, you're going to put things like your arrangement or whatever else that might separate you from the rest of my students. And I'm going to show you something else which is kind of cool. You can see it here. If the other way to make comments is with 2 slashes. Okay, so anytime you see 2 slashes, that is going to be, once again, invisible to the compiler. All right, so I can make notes as I develop my code and comment it at the end of the code or at the end of my line or at the beginning of a section or whatever I want to do. So here we have a block, and here we have an individual comment. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is start developing some good practice. I'm going to save as, and here you're probably going to want to create yourself a directory. I'm going to just make one up, a mock one here. I'm going to call it robotics, and inside my robotics folder, by the way, if you didn't know, I just clicked on this create new folder. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to call this Hello World. All right, actually, yeah. All right, and then in here, I'm actually going to put my code, and I'll call it hello. All right, and now you can see it right here. So let's write this piece of code. It will not take long. We're going to barrel through it. There's really actually only 3 lines you need to type to do this very nominal experiment. First thing we have to do is in setup. Remember, it runs once. Is we need to actually open up the port to communicate with our computer so that we can actually see the text that it's going to display. So that is done with this simple serial.begin. Now there's lots of choices for speed. This next number I'm going to enter is the baud rate. 9,600 is a very reliable, stable, beautiful baud rate. It works really, really well under most circumstances. Kind of the default. So it's a good one to go with. Okay? And I'm actually going to hold off on putting a lot of comments. I'll ease you into it, but we will in the future be commenting most of these lines. And then down here, this is the loop. Okay? It's going to run over and over and over again. So here I'm going to do a serial.print, and I'm going to make a couple of mistakes first off. And let's just say, whoops, actually, I'm going to put in text. So I'm going to have to start with an open quote and close it. And then this is important, every line. Well, actually, let's run this one time. So it looks like I'm ready to go. It's going to say hello world. If I go ahead now and compile this, we're going to verify it first. And it's going to give me an error because you'll notice that every line of code needs to end with this semicolon, every functional line of code. So I need to put a semicolon there. And I also want to show you this. To make your code look nice, on a PC you can hold down Control and hit T for tidy, and it cleans up your code beautifully. I believe it's Command T on a Mac. Alright, so now I've cleaned up my code and I put that the semicolon in here after reading my error, and let's verify. So notice I'm verifying. I'm not uploading yet. Okay, nothing has went to my computer. Verifying is a great way to test your code before you upload it. All right, and I'm going to encourage you to verify often. All right, so as you're writing code, don't hesitate to click that button frequently, because it'll help you troubleshoot issues well before they get to be a royal hassle, because they'll be embedded in 100 lines of code and you don't know what the heck happened. So verify often. Okay, I'm ready. Let's load it. And it's the first time, so it's going to take a little bit. And it's done uploading. So you're going to want to see it, which means you have to open up the serial monitor. And, whoa, look at that. It's scrolling through so fast you can't hardly read it. It's not going to a new line. It is hard to understand. Okay? So let's correct that. Let's put a delay in here. You know how you saw that in the last one. Let's make it 500 milliseconds. So this is exactly like we had in the Blink program. And I'm going to go ahead and straight upload. So I need to actually stop this. Again, eventually it could fill my buffer up and crash my computer. And okay, now it's working, but we still don't have a new line, all right, which would be nice to have. So to get that new line, you can do it a couple different ways. But the most common is to simply put an ln for new line after the print. And what that's going to do is it's going to print this, and then it's going to generate a new line at the end of it, and we're going to see it come down probably the way you expected it to go. So what I want you to do is I want you to build this code yourself. I would like you to make sure it has this header information in it. And, you know, make it say something. Play with the timing. Do whatever. Goof around for a little bit. Because I'm going to see you in just a few minutes, and we're going to really start to have some fun with it. So hopefully this was good, and I will see you again shortly.